Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red trimmed with the white. His professional record, 33 wins, 18 of those coming by way of KO against 3 losses and 1 draw. Fighting and representing Gilroy, California. Please welcome the former champion, Robert the Ghost Guerrero. Across the ring, his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the pink and leopard. He enters the ring undefeated, 31 wins, 18 of those coming by way of knockout against no losses. Fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He is the former undisputed super lightweight champion, Danny Swift Garcia.
Robert Guerrero has the edge of a hostile crowd on his side going in. Hostile toward Danny Garcia. He had that road sense before when he fought Eric Morales, but this little bite on this crowd here.
And Garcia expected that. He told us, you know what, I am the outsider. I'm fighting the guy that's from California, but knowing Mexicans, they just want a good fight. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, or candy stripe.
Or however he came into this ring tonight with that getup. All right, so another righty-lefty matchup here. We've had a slew.
Interesting. Right now, Danny Garcia already starting fast, missing a big overhand right, I'm sorry, and then Robert Guerrero landed his left.
And if you're a Guerrero fan sitting back in row 40, it landed.
And there's an overhand right that did land for Garcia there. Nice move escaping the corner there. What he's doing there, he's trying to punch in between Guerrero. I see that he's trying to catch him with a winging shot, Garcia is. And that's smart. That's very smart on his part.
Good right hand here by Garcia. Garcia has one of the best left hooks in boxing.
Scary left hook. It can be short and precise, or it can be long and devastating, but absolutely one of the best in the business.
Now the double left hook is a classic. Trainers have mentioned one of the good ways to fight a lefty. What do you think of the double left hook against the lefty? And is it an especially good thing for Garcia tonight because of the strength he has with it?
Absolutely, it's his favorite punch.
But I mean, as far as the double left hook against the lefty, you like that strategy going in generally?
No, I don't, to tell you the truth. I actually like a guy that goes in there and feels out his opponent instead of going in there with a plan and trying it right off the bat. Go in there. You might not want to throw that double left hook, like you said, if you know that your first one's not landing or if he's not biting to the jab or the feint. You know, these are things you want to see. You want to see how your opponent's reaction is going to be just by you flinching, like feinting with your feet or your hands. A double left hook could be a dangerous punch to throw if you don't throw it right. Like right here, you see Guerrero landing and being the aggressor, landing some solid shots, just missing, but catching the attention of Garcia.
So the textbooks say one thing, the fighters see something else in there, and then they modify.
That's right. You gotta adapt in every fight, because if you go by the textbook and your opponent read that same book, you're in trouble. It's a good round.
First.
Good round by Guerrero here. I think he ended it up strong. Close round. Guerrero finished strong. Danny controlled the pace, controlled the majority of that round. Very, very tight round.
He's trying to counter you. You fire it, he's trying to fire behind you. So use your right hand. Yeah, you pass the overhand to him. You don't give him a chance.
Right here we see the right hand that I was talking about. Garcia tried to land that right hand early. They clashed heads right there, which you probably will see the rest of the night, because when you get a southpaw at an orthodox fighter, you get a lot of clash of heads, a lot of stepping on feet, and a lot of things that you're not used to seeing because it's a different angle.
Right here, it's working. That's all you gotta do.
That's why I always like to hear lefties complain when they have to fight a southpaw.
Oh, they hate
Takes
it.
away all their edges.
They hate it. Every advantage they had just goes out the window because they're fighting another guy. They're fighting a mirror. They're fighting themselves in the mirror.
These guys are fighting for the welterweight championship. Danny Garcia
Stop.
and Robert Guerrero.
Step away. Box.
Garcia 31-0 with 18 knockouts. Guerrero 33-3-1 with 18 knockouts. Dave Bontempo and Sergio Mora with you here at the Staples Center in Los Angeles.
It's interesting, Dave, because we talked to Guerrero and he said that don't be surprised if I start off the aggressor, the power puncher, the one coming forward, because he believes, Robert Guerrero believes he can knock out Danny Garcia early, which is something that obviously the bookmakers don't believe. The fans hope that happens, but we're very skeptical about him knocking out a guy that's never been knocked out. Both of these guys have never been knocked out.
Sometimes the guy just feels the opportunity will be there early. And you're talking about in Nevada where they have legal wagering that Garcia is a 10-1 favorite. Bearing out that bit of a long shot phenomenon for Guerrero. Can he summon up one more big fight?
Stop. Don't push his head down to him, all right? You all right? Box.
Guerrero getting warned there for pushing Garcia's head down, which is exactly the dirty tactics that we talked about. This is the type of fight that Guerrero does want to make. He wants to use all his experience and dirty tactics to win this fight. And Garcia wants to avoid getting mixed up in the veterans' way of fighting. You don't want to make it a dirty fight. You want to stay on the outside and use your youth and your advantages. You don't want to give this veteran, this 32-year-old veteran and former champion, any kind of chance to get in there.
And Guerrero has to know how to try to make it dirty without pushing it too much and getting penalized. But right now he saw Garcia moving straight back and he nailed him with the left hand, and then Garcia came back with a left hook.
Garcia has attempted that overhand right maybe 3 times every round, and he's landed it more than once. It's a punch that he thinks could land. There he goes again. It's a punch that he's been throwing. You can tell that he studied Guerrero and he thinks he can land that punch. He's going to throw that punch throughout the whole fight. Right here we see Jack Reese taking control of this fight.
Listen to me, I'm talking, you listen. When you get tied up in positions like that, don't hit him like that. All right, and I didn't call over, he pushed your head. Go in that corner,
Jack Reese
do it, relax, ready?
Taking control of this fight, because if you don't do it early, the fighters are not going to pay attention late. Getting warned for punching while in the clinch.
Stop.
Well, you have to establish parameters.
Which is something I expected Robert Guerrero to do. That's a dirty tactic. Hitting low, hit him on the clinch, hit him behind the head. These are things that a veteran wants to do to a young champion, but the young champion proving to have some dirty tricks up his sleeve as well.
Two things right quick. You're bending way below your waist. Fuck, man, you didn't do nothing. Let's go.
Get a look at some of the work by both guys in that last round, as Guerrero got tied up there by the Garcia left hand around the leg.
Guerrero pushing his head down, which is illegal, and Danny Garcia picking up Guerrero's right leg, which is illegal. So we got a wrestling match here with both fighters doing some dirty tactics. This can get interesting.
It starts with them both being a little off balance, and then it led to something more. Third round action. Danny Garcia Robert
Let go,
Guerrero,
fellas. Let each other go. Pull out. That's it. Danny, pull out.
welterweight championship on the line.
Let each other go.
They
Let
both
each other
had
go.
belts.
Pull your arms out, fellas. Both of you. Pull your arm out, Danny.
Garcia has traveled the least distance up to 147. Guerrero was a champion all the way back at 126 and steadily moved up.
Guerrero took 2 left hooks from Garcia there, and that's Garcia's big punch and favorite punch to throw. And Guerrero can't be taking too many of those left hands. We're barely in the 3rd round here, and that's Garcia's bread and butter punch.
Let him go, Robert.
Jab by Guerrero gets through, and it's Garcia initiating the tie-up.
Good body shot there by Garcia. Guerrero walking down Garcia, but not effectively. You could see that Garcia is actually boxing and doing the better boxing, landing the better shots here. So it doesn't matter if Guerrero's putting the pressure, it's ineffective pressure. As you saw right there, Garcia landed a big right hook. You can see the sweat fly from Guerrero's head, and that's what the judges see.
He got nailed with that right hand as he was trying to close the distance on Garcia. Guerrero sensing something, he is stalking, he is trying to walk Garcia down. But Garcia gets there at the moment that Guerrero wants to.
Right now, Guerrero is not doing what he said he was going to do, which is box and let Garcia come to him. He's actually going to Garcia and making it easier for Danny to land those big shots, especially that big left hook. Robert Guerrero told us that it takes a lot more to box than to brawl, but the brawling has got him the big fights recently, the Mayweather fights and every other fight that he's been on. But for this fight, he can't brawl. He can't do what he did in those fights. He's on the big stage now. He's a main event fighter. He needs to get back to what got him to be the successful multi-division champion, and that's be the boxer puncher, not just the brawler coming in forward and getting smacked on the way in.
And it sounds one way when you say it. Doing it is quite a different art. And overcoming that temptation to not brawl and not to be aggressive, especially when it's your crowd. So all these factors into the pot for Guerrero.
Stop, both of you guys, stop.
When I asked Guerrero what made him start doing that, why did he become a brawler? And he said, I quote, "I like the taste of a war, and the fans love it." But in fights like this where he wants to win, he needs to do the exact opposite. He needs to like the taste of victory instead of war, and he needs to win tonight. If he wants to win tonight, he needs to get moving. He needs to use those feet a little bit more and not just come in like a mummy.
All right. Control. Look for the shots. Like the way I
You
told
see
you.
guys as they get older too talk about they want to make it a war, they can serve some space in there and don't move as much.
Power ain't shit, right?
They settle for more of an inside game.
What are you gonna do?
Because it takes a lot more to get on your toes and box, be quick and swift and young. And at 32 years old, he's not that old. A lot of great fighters, most of the pound for pound fighters are in their early 30s or mid 30s. It's more of a wear and tear that, and here Guerrero has him in the corner.
He tees off. He caught Garcia off balance and nailed him with a left hand. He senses the opportunity. Garcia is tying him up. Was it a momentary flash? Or does have Guerrero more opportunity for him here? Left hand gets in. Garcia tying up.
Spin out of there.
Well, whatever it was, it woke the crowd up, and you definitely want the crowd on your side to help those 32-year-old legs or whatever wear and tear. Great body shot there by Guerrero. Might have strayed a little low, but if the referee didn't say anything,
left arm out.
then he could try it again.
Not behind the head, Robert. Pull your left arm out, Danny.
And Jack Reese telling Guerrero to pull the left arm out, and if you do that, they'll let you keep punching on and work it out yourself. If you don't, then the referee will do the separating. Garcia with a good body shot. Guerrero back. More good body work by Garcia.
Garcia's doing something I really like here. He's throwing body shots and he's pivoting away from the southpaw angle. So in other words, he's not sticking around to give the southpaw any of the southpaw advantages. He's pivoting out right when Robert Guerrero wants to counter. So he's getting his points and then leaving the scene.
And he's doing it with an exquisite sense of timing because Guerrero is coming to him. And just as Guerrero is going to do the damage, then Garcia gets there first. He picks his moment.
That's the sweet science, and that's what judges are actually looking for. They score what's called ring generalship, and that's exactly what ring generalship is. Who's in control of the pace of the fight? Not only who's landing the better punches, but who looks like they're doing and executing their game plan more effectively.
Who can be thinking defense first and make it look like you're toying with your opponent.
Exactly, and right now, that looks like it's Danny Garcia.
He's done a real nice job as Guerrero has come to him, picking off that key moment and scoring. That's been an uncanny thing that Garcia has been able to do thus far.
Guerrero landed a wide left uppercut there. That caught Danny's attention, flinched his eyes. That was a good round for both fighters, but I'd say Danny Garcia landed the better, more effective punches on that one. Right there we see Danny Garcia missing overhand right, and it did look like he got a little bit off balance there. It wasn't really a punch. It was more of a push and a slip on Danny's part, but Guerrero was able to still take advantage of it and land some good shots. There he landed a great counter left uppercut, kept coming. Good round for both of them.
Don't forget your legs, keep your hands up. Yeah. What this nigga on attention? Have you all ready? They can run into it. Hey, more combination. Watch the left up.
Round 5, Danny Garcia and Robert Guerrero. Welterweight championship on the line. Good left hand by Guerrero, timing Garcia.
Great straight left there from the southpaw angle without a jab. Caught Garcia by surprise there. He was getting accustomed to Robert throwing that lazy jab out there and trying to land the big left. Right there he decided just to go straight with that left, and it landed nicely for Guerrero. Good shot there by Garcia, counter left hook as Guerrero comes in.
So you have to change up the tempo, show different looks, and maybe you can walk your opponent into a mistake. Garcia back on Guerrero with a good body shot.
Work on there, fellas. Your hands are free.
Garcia gets in and then leaves. Gets the body shot in and is out.
I would like Guerrero to use that jab a little bit more. When he throws it, he lands it. He forces Garcia to step back. It's a rhythm finder. It's a nice, we call it the stick in boxing. You want to let that stick out. Even if it's not landing, the rhythm of the fight is on your benefit. It's on your side.
It's twice that Garcia has gone low on Guerrero. He gets warned. And why was he low? Because of the jab. That Guerrero changed the angle on him, and so when he launched the punch, he was further back. One of the benefits of the stick.
The stick, that's right. Right here we saw Garcia land 2 overhand rights. And what Garcia's been doing really well, I noticed since the first round, he hasn't laid on the ropes. Even though he's a power puncher, the young undefeated fighter, he hasn't given Robert Guerrero any opportunity or no confidence to leave him against the ropes. He's been pivoting out, and that's been great on the part of Garcia.
Good hook to the body again by Garcia. And these take their toll. It's interesting that we have not seen many fights in which Garcia is backing up this much. Talk about that a little bit more on the other side as this round comes to a halt.
Time, Robert.
Get a look at some of Guerrero's moves in that round. He caught him with that left hand.
And that's the big left hand. Whether it was enough to win the round, I don't know, because Danny Garcia controlled most of that action, landed the better shots, showed some defense there, which is also something the judges are looking for in defense. It all depends what you want here. Do you want aggression, pressure? That's not always effective. Or do you want the clean shots in between? Right now I have Danny Garcia winning this fight convincingly. I think he's winning these rounds convincingly. Guerrero makes it interesting here and there, but I really don't think Guerrero has won more than 3 rounds.
All right, so we proceed into round 6. Danny Garcia and Robert Guerrero seeking the vacant 147-pound championship. Dave Bontempo and Sergio Mora with you. Sergio, of course, has had a championship at 154 pounds.
I almost had one at 160 6 months ago.
Well, we still think you might get another shot at that, right?
God willing.
In this 147-pound class, Amir Khan, Danny Garcia. Some of the names up here: Keith Thurman, Kell Brook,
Sean Porter,
Timothy Bradley,
Errol Spence Jr. It's
My
probably
goodness.
one of the most talent-filled divisions aside from the middleweight division. But the welterweight division, I would say, is the most exciting right now in boxing. It has all the potential stars. Provodnikov, who's coming up to 147, who's always an action-packed fighter.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about it, the excitement about certain divisions. They used to have it at 140 about 4 years ago. And now at 147, the middleweights always create a lot of interest with people.
They punch like lightweights.
Yeah, at the heart of the sport, you have to be strong through that 140 to 160 pound swath of territory.
Step back, box.
And here, Garcia with the left hook.
Big shot there by Garcia. And Guerrero takes it well. He landed it flush right there. So Robert Guerrero already showed that he can take the power of Danny Garcia, but he doesn't want to take all these power punches because every time you throw, Guerrero is here to win, first of all. Back up. But he's falling behind on points. He's getting hit by these massive left hooks by the left hooker. The last thing you want to do is get hit consistently by a big puncher.
Garcia sharpshooting, letting Guerrero come in, and then he's the one that gets the punchline at the end.
And that's the reason Garcia's winning these rounds. He's actually punching Guerrero into submission. Right there, he lands a big overhand right.
Good left hook by Garcia.
Sometimes a knockout just doesn't come by one punch. It can come by an accumulation of punishment. And Garcia's landing these solid shots right here and winning every round. You know, we've had 2 fighters quit on us on their stool. Guerrero, I don't think will ever get close to quitting, but he is getting discouraged by a big puncher.
Gets nailed again by Garcia and a big hook.
I don't like what I'm seeing on Guerrero's part. Guerrero's father in his corner, I'm sure is going to tell him this. You never want to see your son get hit, especially in a fight where you're not winning these rounds.
Good right hand by Garcia. Look at the left hook come in. He's closing distance. And he continually gets Guerrero to walk into the damage.
Because Guerrero's not being effective going forward. He's not being effective going back. He's not effective going sideways. Nothing that Guerrero can do or has done so far has been effective, and that's the reason he's getting hit with these big shots that get the crowd going.
All right, baby. He's slowing down, champ.
Garcia just needs to continue doing what he's doing, and he's going to actually maybe even win by a technical knockout, because one punch is not doing it here for Garcia like he's used to doing it. It's an accumulation of punishment here. It's the concern for Guerrero in his corner and the toll that all these tough fights have had on his body.
And all these sharpshooting marksmanship type shots, which are, you know, maybe each one on a power level might be a 7.5, but you get hit with a number of those, and that's a real problem. So into the second half of the fight we go with Danny Garcia.
Good body shot there by Garcia. Not forgetting about going downstairs. I mean, he got so happy landing these big punches upstairs that Garcia goes back downstairs because he knows that's how the big shots are opening up.
And it brings up something interesting in that Garcia previously fired a lot of big shots and one-punch knockouts. And usually when a guy's been a one-punch knockout artist, it wouldn't be surprising to see him going for the one shot again. But we see a lot of discipline with Garcia.
Big shot there by Garcia, overhand right. Guerrero, I think his corner should be really concerned about all these punches that he's taking, because we're barely halfway through this fight, and he's already behind on points and getting hit with the big shots from a big puncher.
Garcia nails him again and continually gets Guerrero to walk into the trap.
And Guerrero not known as a puncher. He wasn't known as a puncher back when he was a lighter fighter, especially now at 147. So Guerrero's corner really has to start questioning their own man, saying he's not a power puncher. He's taking big shots. He hasn't won one round officially or clearly. Can we continue letting him go out there and not be effective? Because this is a young man that's been through some brutal fights in Guerrero, and he's getting tagged by a big puncher.
And the thought on top of that, that in career twilight, if that's where he is, well, you look at it a little bit more like that too. A little sense of protecting him and saving him. So all that is the factors going on underneath. The drama out in front. Garcia.
Big shot there by Garcia as Guerrero came in. I don't see this fight going the distance, Dave. Whether the referee stops it, the judges stop it, there's nothing that Robert Guerrero is doing to keep Garcia from punching him so cleanly. And these shots, they're big shots from a big puncher. So you gotta start thinking about this fighter's safety, Guerrero's safety, and whether he's too tough for his own good.
Can't change the dynamic. So let's take a long look for Guerrero. Maybe some different tactics as well, not to be on the lead. Take a look with Garcia. Gets the better of that one too.
He's been landing those overhand rights since the first round. It's something that he came in here knowing he was going to land consistently. Even though it didn't land in the first two rounds, in the third round and on, he's been landing it solidly and cleanly. These are big shots.
trying to make you pay. Keep your hands up too. When you're going around, you're going under, your hands got to be out where you know where they at. So don't lose control of your hands. Stay faithful to your legs.
You gotta let both hands go. On.
We continue on to round 8. Time is getting short for Robert Guerrero. On the left of your screen, getting beaten to the big shots by Danny Garcia. Attempting to capture a 147-pound title. Dave Bontempo and Sergio Mora with you at the Staples Center on Premier Boxing Champions.
Well, the reason this is one-sided fight, it has been a one-sided fight, is because one man is following his game plan and the other one is totally ignoring his. Garcia came in here saying that he wasn't going to get caught up in the dirty tactics of Guerrero. He was going to use his right foot to pivot out of danger off the ropes like he has been doing. Use different angles, not get caught up in the southpaw traps, go to the body and not overlook an opponent, a champion, a former champion like Robert Guerrero, who's at a desperate crossroads fight. So Garcia has been doing everything that he said he was going to do. The problem is Guerrero is not doing one thing that he said he was going to do, which is box, use his legs, make Garcia come to him, use his jab more effectively.
He voluntarily got rid of Garcia coming to him. He's been coming to Garcia the entire fight. And for Garcia, it's been an excellent sense of patience in this fight, letting Guerrero pick out the spot where they're going to engage and then beating him.
And that shows why he's a champion, why this young man is so mature, why he became a champion so young, and why he continues to be a champion, because he has discipline. He knows how to be a power puncher. He knows that naturally, but he learned how to be mature. And that's something that's a character you build with tough fights.
If you're going to be the counterpuncher and win on the judges' scorecards, which happens not too often, you have to make it look like you have toyed with your opponent. And Garcia's managed to do that. Good body shot.
Great body shot there. Even though Guerrero may have blocked it with his forearm or his elbow, those punches still hurt because they're digging your forearm and your elbow inside your own body. So those punches are just as effective when they're blocked and when they're not. Thudding punches there by Garcia. You can hear him getting louder now.
Waits for Guerrero to come, launches the hook, waits, fires, and gets out.
Big shot there. I don't know how Guerrero stood up with that overhand right there. The corner really needs to look into this fight because Guerrero hasn't fought like the old Guerrero. And he can get injured in there. He can actually get seriously hurt in there.
Man, you hit him with a good shot. You can't get that straight right hand in him. What's that? You gotta learn that.
If Guerrero was a one-punch knockout artist like Garcia is, then maybe you can keep letting him go out there round by round behind on points because you know he has that eraser. But Guerrero doesn't have the eraser, and tonight he doesn't even have a sharp pencil. Right here we see Garcia just waiting for Guerrero to make mistakes. And right there he's been landing that overhand right, that overhand right hook consistently, making Guerrero miss.
And Guerrero walking right into the problem.
Guerrero
straight into it.
Guerrero, a glutton for punishment, and a guy that's confused, not knowing what to do against the younger, stronger champion.
Ninth round, Robert Guerrero, Danny Garcia. Okay, the high water mark for Guerrero. There had been the ability to manhandle Andre Berto in 2012. That was a smaller fighter. He was able to muscle him and beat him.
Berto's been manhandled before by Victor Ortiz, Soto Carras. So by Guerrero doing it, it was nothing new.
But since then, for himself, Guerrero getting the high water marks haven't really been there.
Stop, my break. Stop, step out. Mark, I got an accidental butt. He's got a cut lip. Watch it. Box.
Another headbutt there, because as rounds go on and both fighters are more tired and fatigued, their heads are going to be clashing together, not only because there's a clash of southpaw style versus an orthodox fighter, but because they're also tired, lunging in, and not as defensively strong.
Had that been in a different place than the lip, that would have been a very significant call made by Jack Reese. If that's over the eye, yeah, the referee has to make a determination. And the accidental headbutt would mean that if the fight was stopped, you go to the scorecards, as opposed to a TKO. Here's Guerrero trying to get in, and Garcia has an answer for him every time. And another example of it there.
And Garcia knows 2-3 clean punches every 30 seconds is enough to win the round. He's not getting lured into a slug match, a slugfest with Guerrero, which is the only chance he has. Guerrero's only chance to win now is to catch Danny Garcia coming out of his own character, coming out of the element he's been in, which is a boxer mover. He's been landing his shots and getting away perfectly.
Stop, nobody punch. Separate, box.
The right hand lead by Garcia. Tailor-made for the southpaw opponent.
Every punch Garcia's been throwing has been a tailor-made punch for Guerrero, who hasn't been moving his head, is not giving Garcia anything to think about. No foot movement, no feints. Guerrero looks like an old fighter in there now.
As the 9th goes in the books.
Here we see Garcia landing a right and a beautiful left hook, jarring Guerrero's head back, which we've been seeing all night. If one thing you could give Guerrero is not only that he's tough as nails and he's obviously a world champion, a former world champion, but he has a granite chin and a hard head, because he's taken some massive shots tonight by the power puncher Danny Garcia.
I'm telling you, every time you come in, put your elbow. Turn, put your elbow, and he needs your elbow. Break fire with fire. Think the ref ain't worrying about it. His fucking job. Bullshit, stop on the right hand and shit.
Pat Russell looking in. I'm sorry, Jack Russell looking into the corner of Guerrero there.
Maybe the argument made about a short leash for Guerrero, but got long odds anyway in the scorecards into round 10. Danny Garcia, Robert Guerrero. Garcia, counterpuncher extraordinaire in this fight. What's unique to see, Sergio, is a guy who's been a one-punch artist, a guy who scored the knockout of the year, punch of the year, has that kind of power, having the patience to wait for another guy to come to him consistently in this fight.
And be a counterpuncher, absolutely. It shows the overall game that Danny Garcia has. He's not just a puncher. He can go in there and cruise into a decision, be an excellent counterpuncher, a mover, pivoting away from trouble.
So Guerrero tries to walk to Garcia.
Stop,
He's not jamming his way to him.
Let each other out.
And that's one thing that's hurt him as far as being open for the counters.
Because when you're coming forward and you're trying to land a jab consistently, it takes leg strength. Going into the 10th round already, being a shop-worn fighter like Guerrero looks now, it takes a lot for you to actually use all that, muster up all that strength from your legs that you're going to want and need for the next 2 rounds, because now Guerrero just became comfortable going the distance and being a tough guy in these big fights. As long as he doesn't get knocked out, he's telling himself, well, I might have another big fight. Hasn't won a round here. Has been trying, but he's just in there and outmatched against Danny Garcia. But what frustrates me watching Guerrero is that he hasn't tried something different. If the same game plan hasn't worked from the first round, why are you continuing to do it 10 rounds later?
At some point, there should have been an adjustment of, I'm not going to go right to him. Maybe I can lure him into something. I'm not going to walk that straight line to Danny Garcia.
Right there, he attempted something. He went to his left and went to his right. At least he attempted. I saw a glimmer of something different, but exactly, Dave, this is something that his corner should have been yelling at him about, telling him, you should be doing this, try this, it hasn't worked. You haven't been jabbing enough. You've been coming straight in. You're plodding forward. You're not moving your head. But they haven't told him none of this, and that's the reason he's lost every round in my book. When you get to these championship rounds, even if you're behind on all the cards, just like Robert Guerrero clearly is, it takes a lot for a corner to stop it because you've already come this far. Why not let him go out there and just finish the fight, keep his pride, and end on his own 2 feet? Because a fighter like Guerrero, a champion like Guerrero, who's never been stopped, to end his career, say this is his final fight, with a stoppage is just not fair. So if he got this far, you don't want to be answering questions 5 years from now and then say, hey, well, how can your last fight you were stopped? Well, maybe I could have made it. You know, you just don't want to be saying that. And they'll balance that with what he's getting hit with. The only way I could see Guerrero's corner throwing in the towel or stopping the fight is if he gets hit with a combination of 3-4 punches in a row, even though Guerrero's going to probably take them all. Jack Reese or the corner might. I'd say you might see Jack Reese do it first. Yeah. But it would have to be consistent punches that are unanswered. Pot shots, he will continue taking them. But if Garcia can land 3-4 punches in a row, someone will have to save him. Danny Garcia has taken what Robert Guerrero has given him.
Pull those arms out. Stop the holding.
Guerrero has come straight to him, opened up a mammoth avenue for countering, and Garcia has countered effectively.
No.
And pivoted effectively. That's one of the game plans he said he was going to do, is not stay on the ropes, not let Garcia make it a dirty fight, and just pivot out. Those are veteran moves by a young fighter like Danny Garcia, just making him look foolish, being the matador in there. And Guerrero playing the perfect part of a bull. Another good right hand by Garcia cracks off the jaw of Guerrero. But Garcia backing up when he's throwing some of these shots, and we're not seeing combinations. It's one shot at a time. Good body shot there by Garcia, and in the later rounds, it doesn't take much to take everything out of you. So Guerrero must be feeling those. He must be feeling every shot that Garcia is throwing, but especially those body shots. Good right hand here by Garcia, turning around.
Stop.
And Guerrero showing just how tired he is by wrestling. He wants to be the one to wrestle now, and trying to keep Garcia on the ropes by holding him and hugging him. That even takes more out of you trying to do that. You're spending more energy trying to hold onto a fighter that just wants to move and leave you there. Garcia opens up with 2 to the body,
And the jab. Guerrero trying to do something different on the outside, but it's not happening for him.
That's the combination I'm talking about. Four punches just landed consistently.
And then a huge uppercut.
Jack Reese is going to probably end up telling his corner that he's not going to let Guerrero's corner take these many punishments. These are solid shots coming from a puncher consistently, with Guerrero not able to do anything in return.
Except to walk to Garcia and eat another one as he summons up a little pride.
Overhand
Garcia
right
has the edge.
Overhand right hook type punch that he's been landing all night.
Last round, fellas, last round.
Right uppercut that basically came from the bottom of his hip. Those type of punches, a former champion like Guerrero should see from a mile away. But when you're in the position of Guerrero, where you took everything that Garcia has been throwing, the punches aren't even affecting you no more. You're in a position where you just want this fight to be over with. What a performance by Danny Garcia in these 11 rounds.
Lopsided edge for a counter puncher. Not something you usually say. So they'll tap it up for the final round.
Last round, good luck to both of you guys.
Garcia and Guerrero. Garcia 31-0, 18 knockouts, on the verge of capturing WBC welterweight title. Now open after the retirement of Floyd Mayweather. Guerrero, a pro, a champion at 126, 135, 130, and 147. Is this it? Is this his final round?
A fighter never wants to admit when it's his final round, but with a beautiful family that he has, the great career that he has, the multi-world championships that he's won, the money he's made in the latter part of his career.
And the good guy image, taking time off so to help his wife who's battling major disease. He's been one of these good guys in the sport.
A God-fearing man, a great example for not only his kids, but a lot of young people out there. I mean, he can be an ambassador for the sport, and he can go out on a high note as far as him knowing he accomplished all these things. But if he waits till it's too late, until he gets knocked out, then it's a sad tale that usually happens with a lot of boxers. We don't quit until we are forced to quit by somebody.
That can even be the network executives that won't give you the money you want for a fight. So all that into the scenario here for Guerrero, and for Garcia, the beat continues to go on.
Big shot there, right hook that landed for Garcia there. He just missed that left hook before the right hook, but if you would have landed both those shots, I just don't see how Guerrero can continue taking these shots. Good shot there by Guerrero, lands, but at this point, I don't think how much he has on him.
Well, the clock a major factor, and where we are a major factor in that. The sense in the corner, the crowd, that they'd like to see the ghost at least get to the finish line.
Well, the crowd's gonna see the ghost get to the finish line, but it wasn't easy. His face is bloodied and bruised, swollen, and this is what he's been comfortable with doing, going the distance and brawling with the stronger, younger fighters, and here he's closing a show, a one-sided show, doing what got him to this point, and that's being the warrior that he is.
We're going to remember this. For the last 30 seconds, Guerrero gave the crowd something. Gave himself something to take out of here. And some appreciation from Garcia there as well.
Here are your score totals. Judges at ringside, Max DeLuca, Ray Donesco, Steve Weisfeld. See the contest the same, 116, 112, all for your winner by unanimous decision. And the new WBC welterweight